Hello class, I'm going to try to make a quick video on how to dimension the cabin. So, I've got the PowerPoint slide brought up here. Now this is for the 2023 edition. And they want us to create a new dim style titled ARC64. And what they've done was they've taken the tabs for dim style and they've tabulated it. So for example, primary units, architectural. Precision 16th. We never suppress 0 feet, but we do suppress we never suppress 0 inches, but we do suppress 0 feet. And we're going to go through this, so I'll walk you through it. First things first, let the annotation ribbon drop, go to dim style. We're going to want to create a new dim style, and I'm going to call it ARC64. Now why 64? The drawing scale for this cabin project is 3/16 the inch equals a foot. 16/3 is 5.333 repeating. Multiply that by 12 and you get a scale factor, a drawing scale factor of 64. So that's why ARC64. I'm going to hit continue. First things first, primary units, you need to switch that from decimal to architectural. Precision is a 16th. Now they leave it at horizontal, which is typically mechanical, but I'm not going to play with that. We never suppress 0 inches. Next I go to the fit tab. Now, when text is not in the default position, it's going to place your measurements for your dimensions over the dimension line with a leader. So we're probably going to have to stretch them back. That's okay. Scale, features. Right here is where we're going to put in the scale factor of 64. Next, let's go to the text tab. They want us to change our style, our text style. So text style is right here. I can get to text style. I'm going to type in Stylus BT, and there it is. So change that to Stylus BT, set it current, override the change, and hit close. They want us to change our text height to 1/16 the inch. And our fraction height scale, that's going to shrink our numerator denominator in half. Now, if dimension lines are vertical, it's going to put it above. If they're horizontal centered, and we align our text with the bottom and the right hand side of the sheet. Offset from dimension line. We need to change that to a 16th the inch too. That controls the little gap between your text and your dimension line. There's a little space between them. Aligned. Aligned with the bottom of the sheet, right hand side of the sheet. Symbols and arrows, you're going to change that to the architectural tick. Okay. Arrowhead size, book says 16th the inch. Alright. Next, lines. Extend beyond the ticks. We need to set that to a 16th the inch. And extend beyond dimension line, same thing, 16th the inch. I also want you to change the offset from origin. That's a little gap between the object and extension line. We don't need to change it because it's already 16th the inch. Hit OK and set that current. Now, when you go to dimension, what we need to do is we need to dimension away from the object. The exterior dimensions are away from the object. In the PowerPoint slides, they tell me on slide 32, let me zoom out, that they want our spacing to be 27, 18, 18. Okay. I've done the math, 27, 18, and 18. It's not NCS, and it's obviously not AIA. So I'm not sure which standard they're using, but I'm going to follow their numbers here. So the other thing is this. You want your external dimensions away from the object. So what that means is you want it away from whatever feature is furthest projected. And I'll give you an example. If I were to dimension off the right wall, it would interfere with the water heater. If I were to dimension off the water heater, it would interfere with the deck. But if I dimension off the deck, it interferes with nothing. There's no interference. So on the front, it would be the front edge of the steps. On the left side, it's going to be the fireplace. And on the back, well, it's going to be the roof overhang. So, I'm going to pick circle command. Oh, we created a layer. We created a dimensions layer. So let me make sure I'm on that layer. Pick circle. The first line of spacing is 27. And then I'm going to offset that 18. Twice. 18? 18. Yeah, 27, 18, 18. Now, I'm going to pick dim linear. And I'm going to start on this back corner to the center of this window and pull my dimension out to this quadrant right here. Now let me show you a quick way to continue dimensioning. If you select a dimension, you get grips, but you also can let your grips glow orange. And you're going to find dim continue dimension here. So I'm going to continue over to here. I'm going to continue to the center of this window. Be careful with this bathroom window because you cannot use the midpoint. You'll get a funny fraction if you do. Then I'm going to dimension to the top portion of that 6-inch wall. Now I run into a snag with the side door. This is where I got to hit escape and draw a line diagonally through the threshold because I'm going to use that midpoint to find the center of that door. Let me continue this dimension. There we go. Yep. Into the deck, water heater, and the front portion. Very good. Next, I'm going to start over again with the second line. So I hit linear again. Now on here, let me do this too. A good guide for you. If you want to take your PowerPoint slides, let me show you something. So I'm going to cut this slide. Watch, cut it. Go to the next slide, which is the right portion, and rotate my picture. Just rotate that vertical. Now let me get in here and delete some of these because I don't need them anymore. I get the suggestion. And delete that, and delete all that. Okay. So let me position this here and then paste and rotate this. It kind of gives me a good idea of how my project should look. So that's a little easier to look at, I think. Okay. So let me zoom in. Whoops. Let me zoom into all that. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. So next I'm going to start over again, and I'm just going to skip over the windows, basically. Let me continue this dimension. And then give the overall dimension. There we go. So let me grip my circles, and remember, on the front wall, it's going to be these steps. And let me look at the problem again. The trick to it, you're basically replicating the slide, the project in a book. Okay. So, okay, all right, I got you. Okay, so linear, corner, window. Continue. Okay. Linear. Okay. So now, the furthest projected feature on the left side is going to be the chimney. So I'm going to start this side. Now this side's a little tricky. Let me look at the problem in the book. It's a pretty good guide. Okay. I see. All right, I got you. All right. So, look one more time. Yeah, all right, got you. Linear. Now notice here, I need to stretch. You're going to want to stretch these, okay? When it pulls out that leader line, let me continue this dimension. Good. Good. Oh, look at here. You're going to want to stretch these. You're stretching back where they need to be in the middle. AutoCAD figures there's not enough spacing, but I assure you there is. So next, with the second line, I'm going to skip over my doors and windows. Let me look at the problem. Oh, okay. I got you. All right. I see. There we go. Okay. So let me continue there. Look at here. It did it again, so you're going to want to stretch that. That's better. All right. And then the overall. Don't forget that. Very good. Now, grab my circles. Last but not least is going to be the rear wall. Let's see what they did. Tracking. Now, we get to the inside. Interior dimensions are a little bit different. I can get rid of that. And there's a couple not to miss. Let me explain. I missed that. I missed that one up. Okay. There we go. Okay. Don't know how that happened. But anyhow, there's a couple not to miss. If you notice, the water heater goes in that first row. And the chimney, and then for the water heater it goes in the first row here. So don't miss those. Let me pull out linear, and I'm going to dimension my chimney. Okay, and I'm also going to dimension my water heater. So don't forget them. Okay. Next, we're going to begin working on the inside, and there's a little trick to that too. Let me kind of zoom in, and if I can pan. Well, let me see. Get that out of the way. Hey, let's bring this. Can I bring that one on top? Move that here. Move this here. Zoom in there. Okay, there we go. They took the 110 and the 220, and they put it next to the kitchen countertop. Okay. They also shifted vent, hose bib, hot water, cold water over. I think they moved the gas pipe up a little bit. And they moved stacked washer and dryer to text. They moved it over a little bit. And what it is, let me kind of zoom out. Think back to chapter 6. You want your lines of dimensions to be consistent. Some of these, for the closet, they pull from left to right. And some of these, like in the dining room and the side door area, they pull from right to left. And then back in the kitchen, with that window on the porch there, they pull from left to right. But these are consistent. So what I like to do is this. First things first, let's kind of move this stuff around. I'm going to pick my hose bib, my hot water, cold water. Well, I do it this way. Let me move cold water in a little bit. Maybe I can get some room there. Polar checking's not on. That's weird. Okay, so I'll get a little extra room there. Then I'm going to move all these, including the vent and my 4x4, move these over closer to that wall as much as I can. So let me get those shifted. And you might want to move the hose bib even more if you want. And it really looks like it ends up on this corner. Same thing with the vent. Let's move that a little bit further. Fair enough. Now you can stretch your hatch pattern. Let me stretch my hatch pattern and make it fit the vent again. Okay, fair enough. They took this 110 and this 220 and they rotated it and put it up against. That didn't rotate correctly. Hold on. They rotated it and put it up against the countertop, closer to the countertop here. So let me get this better positioned here over here. There we go. Okay, and I can even move this one a little bit closer, I think. I'm going to move my gas symbol up a little bit different too. I'm going to put the word gas. I'm in block editor. Move the word gas over here, close that, save it, and then kind of move that up a little better because I think it'll look better, somewhere over here. I guess. I don't know. Just that way I can move stacked washer and dryer. But before I do, I'm going to change the justification on it. So I'm going to go to justification, top left. That'll allow me to kind of position it against this wall a little bit better. Okay. Oh, you know what? With this, I'm going to actually move this a little more. Move this one a little more this way. So let me move that a little more that way. Okay, good. So now, what I'm going to draw is a construction line. If you let the draw ribbon drop, just past the splines is XL, construction line. Looks like a double-ended arrowhead. And I know that this line of dimensions, I kind of want to get it between like smoke detector and this door call out. So maybe somewhere close to here. And I'm looking down here too. So if I pick right around here, I still might need to move my outlets down here around. But I'd say maybe, I don't know, maybe like right, maybe right there. And then another point vertical. Now, a construction line is infinite, but it does not count for zoom extent. So let me zoom back in there. Okay. Now, I might need to move like dining. I might need to move that over a little bit. Might need to change some of my wires. When you select your wires, you'll see the fit points there. Let me kind of change that a little bit better. It was a little too wiggly. So, okay, that looks a little better. Okay. Now, next, with these, you're going to want to pull and match to that line. So I'm going to start up here linear. Let me look at the problem again. Okay, upper, okay, upper, okay, gotcha, upper, okay, gotcha. So I'm going to start off right here and then go upper, 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 and upper. Okay, good. Next, I'm going to start dimensioning this area. So let me see. Okay. Basically, the pantry and this access right here. There we go. Now we get to right here, the front window. Look at the problem. Okay, here we are. Let me just move that one out of the way for right now. Don't really need it. Okay, so 2, 4, and 6 foot. Okay, gotcha. All right, so I'm going to go from here to here and let that snap to here. Now you might need to reposition these. Let's see how well it goes. Continue. And that goes out to, let me see again. Oh, yeah, okay. So that's going to come out to here. All right, very good. Remember, you can move text. When you select it, you get grips. I like to use move text only. So I'm going to only move my text and just kind of move it up here. I could even move it a little bit more, I guess. Let's see. Move text only. Okay, come on up there. Okay, good. So I'm not going to finish this. I just wanted to briefly demonstrate. You're going to get dimensions coming this way, across the kitchen, across the furnace area. Do your best. Remember the guidelines. They have a checklist here, and I need to mention this too. There is a typo in this. They keep counting 20 120 volt AC outlets. I get 21, and I've had students verify that with me. When you go to count your number of outside dimensions, I'll show you how to do that real quick. So make sure no lines cross through dimensions or text. Good. Now sometimes you're going to have a wire, and I would prefer to bend a minor rule like that, not to break a major one. So I'll give you an example. If I've got a wire, and I have to either cross through text or another thing, cross through an extension line, I would choose the extension line. Reason being, going through text would classify your text as illegible. So if you have a wire that crosses through an extension line and you just can't help it, it really just cannot be helped, I would rather it be that than go through text. Make sure you can read all text and dimensions clearly. Make sure all layers are set to default. You can skip that. Make sure you have all necessary notes, and I'll show you this before I end the video. Make sure your viewport scale is set to 3/16 the inch equals a foot. We're going to do that when we print these. There should be 61 linear or continuous dimensions. Okay, so 40 on the outside. Let me show you how to count that. And the rest of these you should go through. Okay, you should go through the rest of these and make sure that you have everything. But let me show you how to count these. So how to count these, what I would do is select all your dimensions. Well, let me get rid of my construction line. Select all your dimensions. I'm just going to go around and pick them real quick. So, there we go. And right click, anything you draw has properties. So when I go to properties, I get 40 dimensions, okay? You're going to do that same trick on the inside, and you should count your outlets and things of that nature, okay? Now let me show you another trick too. This magenta rectangle. Notice my floor plan's not centered. That magenta rectangle's on a layer called model space layer. So I am going to lock the model space layer. That way, when I select everything here, it doesn't affect that. See, it's locked. See, it's locked. And then I can move my floor plan in the magenta rectangle a little bit better. Something else too. The view name and the scale. Let's kind of move these down. So let me move them down. And same thing with note here. Let me kind of move this. I'm going to move that over here. So the view name would be floor plan. The scale, 3/16 of an inch equals a foot. Now, for the note, I know what they tell you, but this is what I write. I think that's a little more clear to the reader. So, make sure you finish these. Make sure to count them. I'm not going to finish them, but you get the idea. Thank you.